And here we go. Thursday night volleyball in Muncie is underway. First touch, Shearer. Machado over the middle, Savitsky-Lin, rebounded by Clark. White Mountain dump over, trouble handling it. Point goes to Maryville, however.
Ball State got stuck with 3 blockers on the right side, left an opening right near the Charlie Cardinal logo. Maryville strikes first.
Maryville looking to top it here with Jake Usher. Already off to a hot start. Goes too long on the serve off of the air. It's a point for the Ball State Cardinals, evening it up real quick. As we have Lucas Machado to serve it across. He's been one of the better servers on this team. But let's talk about Mike Iandolo. After a stint at Charleston, a 5-year assistant for Ball State, and his 5th year with the program now, the head coach. Usher in reverse to White Mountain. Too strong for the Cardinals. Diving effort, Machado. Maryville, they look to rebound. Bimbo over the middle. Now Machado. Back row attack won't go. Ryan Lewis too long on the tap, but it was hooked up top by Maryville. Wow, what a rebound for Ball State.
No kidding, and they go in and they get the point. What a job to rebound. Now they're up 2-1.
Yeah, Lucas Machado, you can thank him for that incredible diving play to keep that ball alive. On that back line, it does sneak in. That's an ace for Lucas Machado, his 6th on the year.
Yeah, he has one of the better service aces ratios, but we're gonna go over to Maryville now.
Yeah, Mike Haston, his 5th year as the head coach, all 5 years of Maryville's program. What he's done to build up that program is immense. Back behind, it's Scott. Shearer got a hand to it for the Cardinals. Shearer, the free ball. Usher to the near side, White Mountain. Ball State responds. Ryan Lewis attacks. Machado. Back row, Basilio won't go. Rookhausen has the free ball. Miscommunication that time. To the far side, Rogers. Does it go? Yes, it does. Patrick Rogers is hot early.
What a job from Rogers to sneak that one in the corner.
Yeah, Patrick Rogers, just the resume is so long. If we were to go over it, I think we'd be here all day, Sam.
Yeah, we might. And he didn't even start at Ball State, transferred in from St. Francis, Brooklyn, making the same impact here in Muncie.
And Sam, going into this matchup, what are the keys to the match?
Well, we're going to start with Maryville. First off, they have to attack efficiently. They didn't there. They're only attacking at a 12% clip right now, which is 19% less than their opponents. Now for Ball State, have to control the service line. They totaled 16 in their trip to Phoenix, and they also have to involve some non-starters, like a guy of Braden Savitsky-Lin, who had a season-high 8 kills.
Yeah, Savitsky-Lin really looked stellar against Stanford. You mentioned it, 8 kills. As Machado sends it across with the left hand, Clark dives for it immediately. White Mountain on that far side is too long on that far end. So Ball State off to a 6-1 start. Remember, Maryville had the first point.
Yeah, they did. It's quite the run from the Cardinals. Another error from Maryville. And again, you need to attack efficiently.
And that's enough for Mike Haston. He calls a timeout. We'll be right back with more volleyball. Ball State and Maryville. We'll be back soon. return from Worthen Arena, Ball State leads 6-1 in the first set. Sam, the Cardinals off to a 4-1 start, but the most important win of all, beating number 11 Stanford last week.
Yeah, that game versus Stanford was one of the best they've had all year. They were great from the service line. They're carrying over some of the success into this game as well. Right now, they're on a 6-0 run.
Yeah, the Cardinals are no stranger to ranked wins. Maryville, though, at this point, they're looking for their second one in program history after last year being Missouri Baptist School, and they were number 12. And here we go, Lucas Machado to serve it left to right, and here we go. Cardinals on a 6-0 run. Usher the pop-up, Rookhausen tries, he's stonewalled at the net, but goes out of play.
Yeah, Rookhausen, a guy who isn't usually a starter, getting it done there for Maryville. It's good to see the guys who aren't usually off the bench getting points on the board.
Yeah, that's impressive because Rookhausen, he's only 6 foot tall, but he can really jump out of the gym. Shearer, the bump, over to Ryan Lewis. Too strong, now Rookhausen. Over the middle, Bimbo, it's collected by the Cardinals. In the air for Patrick Rogers, Clark the dig. Bimbo tries once more, fumbled, but the Cardinals get it on the net violation.
Yeah, that rally looked really good from both sides, but again, Ball State stayed alive and forced Maryville to commit that error. They just stayed alive longer.
And this is a real threat for Maryville here. Patrick Rogers leading this Cardinal team in aces with 11. And just as I say that, into the webbing it goes. I almost knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, the announcer's jinx. Well, that's his 15th service error on the year, but he has one of the better ace-to-error ratios on the whole team.
But Patrick Rogers, that's just a rare mistake for him. But Tristan Bimbo goes to serve for Maryville. And that one goes into the webbing. Both teams exchanging errors.
Bimbo firing it into the net. His 7th service error on the year. He's yet to record an ace, so not their best server, but a guy who can still fire it from back there.
Yeah, and that opener against Northridge, he played a really big impact, especially on the blocking side. Maryville, they look to respond with Mackay Scott, and we knew we'd call his name eventually. He gets it going right there.
What an attack from Scott, faking out the MIVA preseason player of the year in Patrick Rogers. Falls right to the floor, found some space near that back row.
How often do we say that? Fooling Patrick Rogers, not often. Over to the Cardinal bench, look out, Maryville point.
A little bit of a run here for Maryville, make that 3 straight points, right back in this game at only down 3.
It makes you wonder, Sam, what was Mike Haston telling the guys in that timeout?
Stay in it.
Lucas Machado over the middle, Savitsky Lynn too short, Maryville once more.
You know, one of the things we failed to mention pregame was they need to do well in set number 1. They've yet to win set number 1 in all their matches played. Right now they're only down 2. Success in set number 1 is key to Maryville.
Yeah, no coincidence, 0-3. 0-3 in the first start. Savitsky Lynn tries again. That time it goes.
Another one of our keys, getting role players involved. And it's kind of rare to call a guy like Savitsky Lynn a role player, but when you have power behind the 2 stars of Lewis and Rogers, he kind of falls down the bench a little bit.
Yeah, role player is a term that it shouldn't even be used to downgrade the player. Savitsky Lynn has played his role and played it well for the Cardinals. Maryville struggles with it. In the air for Mackay Scott on that far side, out of play.
Yeah, Scott's a guy who, again, we said leads the team in kills and kills per set, but his attacking percentage is really low. And that's mainly because of the errors, and we saw another one right there. If he can clean some of that up, he'll be a fantastic addition later on in the year.
You can tell he's very aggressive, too. The athleticism really stands out. Speaking of, Rookhausen sends it over. Ryan Lewis, a free ball. Clark, the bump. Scott, the attempt. Pancaked? No, it gets down. Shearer was so close to getting there.
Yeah, you could really hear the squeak on the floor, which usually it's a Terraflex court. Tonight we just have the normal basketball wood floor. It looked like both of them got there, but the official said no.
Yeah, it's a rare sight here at Worthen Arena to not have that new Terraflex floor. It was just introduced last year for the men's and women's team. Ryan Lewis from the back row, touched up front. That's a Ball State point. And who other than Ryan Lewis?
He loves that right to left from far side to near side attack, and he did it right there. Not having a Terraflex court isn't slowing Lewis down. The sophomore, he's nicknamed Baby Giraffe, and you can tell he's quite tall.
Yeah, that's the one thing about this Ball State men's volleyball team. The nickname, Superb. Roba2, he's able to get it down.
What an accomplishment to knock down those three blockers up front. Ball State, one of the better blocking teams, I would say, that we see in college volleyball. And they were able to knock that one right through.
Now you got the leader in attacking percentage for this Maryville team, and AJ Roba2 at 37%. Savitsky Lynn tries again. Rookhausen's able to handle it. Free ball, White Mountain, Shearer the dive. Over the middle, Savitsky Lind, not this time. Miscommunication, Machado the tap. Usher, Rookhausen, back row, touching at the net. Point goes to the Cardinals.
Another attacking error there, but the Cardinals are able to knock that one through.
Yeah, that's just something that you've seen way too often from this Maryville team, only attacking at a 12% clip.
Yeah, it's not high, and they need to clean it up, especially before they go into GLVC play.
A brand new conference for men's volleyball this year. They were previously in the IVA. Makai Scott from the back row gets it to go.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, Rowan, the GLVC headquartered in Indianapolis, about an hour drive right down I-69 from Ball State. It's cool to see, you know, another conference sponsoring volleyball.
It's funny how that works. It's not the first time Ball State's playing a GLVC team this year. They took on Missouri S&T at home a few weeks back. Took that one in 4. A topper off of the net. Machado, Rogers, Clark the dig. And it gets down. A miscommunication for Maryville. Looked like Clark made a great play.
Yeah, miscommunication between the usual libero, Aiden White Mountain, but he's playing outside hitter today. Miscommunication between him and Binbo, and another point falls. Ball State up by 4.
Yeah, Coach Mike Haston was telling us that White Mountain's kind of the libero in waiting under the incredible Zach Clark, the all-time leader in digs for Maryville. White Mountain tries it off the chest of Machado. On the attack, Lucas Machado can do it all. How about that? Not often do you see a setter attack in that manner.
No, you don't, and he can do it all. That's why he's so important to this squad.
Lucas Machado to serve it across, a 5-point Cardinal lead. Usher hesitates back behind Scott, blocked by Surrett. Maryville tries once more with White Mountain. They struggle to handle it. Shearer, Rogers. Over the Ball State, Shearer the tap. Diving effort for the Cardinals from Basilio, but it goes into the stands for a Maryville point.
Yeah, that was a long-awaited point. Maryville earlier in the rally wanted a violation against the Cardinals. They didn't get it, and they outlast Ball State in this one.
I mean, that's why you gotta love volleyball too. If you're in that front row, kind of like we are right now, there might be some souvenirs heading your way. White Mountain tries it for Maryville. Tap over Surrett, the dive, they still keep it alive somehow. Machado, back row Basilio, the tap. Now Patrick Rogers, the big spike. They whistle it dead and it goes to Ball State.
Looks like they're gonna get Maryville for a violation at the net on the Rogers attack. You can see at our net cam right here, looks like they touch it, a little bit shake of the nylon, and that's gonna go in favor of Ball State.
Wow, good eye from that official. Jake Usher falling back. Over to Scott, stonewalled. Ball State's blocking attack continues with that point.
They rank second in the MIVA in blocks, and that shows why. They're tall, but also the guys who aren't even the tallest can jump out of the gym.
Patrick Rogers to try it again. Had an error earlier in the match from the service stripe. This time he gets it over the net. Makai Scott, he sends it over, but Ball State responds. A free ball from Machado. Usher back behind Rookhausen. and over the net Basilio went. So Maryville gets a point once again.
Yeah, Basilio tried to save that ball. The dig from Rogers had way too much spin on it, sent over the net. And now it's only 5. Ball State won that race to 15, but still a very gettable set for Maryville.
Yeah, Maryville really playing well. If we're looking at first sets in the past, this is one of their better performances, especially when you compare it to the UC Irvine match, falling in 3 to the number 6 team in the nation. Patrick Rogers from the back row gets it to fall.
I used the word lethal in the open, and that is exactly what that was. Coach Haston said it's going to be hard to slow down a guy like that, especially attacking from the spots he is.
Yeah, whether you're a fan of the indoor game, the beach game, or even the grass game, you know the name Patrick Rogers. Over the middle, Maryville. Basilio, he looks to get involved, and he does.
What a tap right there. Nothing too crazy, was more creative more than anything. Tapped it against the other player, got it to fall out of bounds. Ball State now up 7.
And a timeout. A timeout called. Ball State, an 18-11 lead over Maryville. Maryville already out of timeouts in the first set.
That's right, and this is a really pivotal point. They can't let Ball State get too many more. They're only 7 points away from winning this set.
Yeah, you look at these first set stats, Maryville 0-3 record. I think that coincides with being 0-3 in the first set.
That's right, and Ball State 4-1. That one loss actually came to Stanford, which the game they ended up winning. So still, impressive first set record for Ball State, and they look to continue that to 5-1.
Would be a huge advantage if they could get it. But that's something that head coach Mike Haston for Maryville, we were talking about him earlier this week. We were talking with him, and he was saying we got to start out hot. And so far, they came to play with Ball State, but a lot of things just haven't gone their way.
Yeah, they've put together a couple of good runs in the middle of the set that we saw, but they need to extend that. They need to make that kind of the standard and have it happen more often. They can't let Ball State go on these dominating runs like they are.
You have to remember that if you let this Ball State team go on these runs, who knows if you could even crawl your way back.
We saw that in the Stanford game, taking them down in 4, one of the ranked opponents they played in Arizona. They just went on runs and beat them in 4.
Yeah, that was an interesting trip to Phoenix. You played the #1 team in the country, UCLA. You fight in 4, but it was a very close 4 sets, and then you beat number 11 Stanford. I call that a successful road trip for the Cardinals. Maryville with White Mountain didn't go. Patrick Rogers tries once more, but it's too long on the back line.
Yeah, Rogers looked confused himself. Rare error from the man who was picked as the player of the year preseason in the MIVA. And just a little too long. It almost got down inside the tape here on the floor, but no good, says the official.
Ethan Tran to serve it for Maryville. He's played 8 sets this year as a freshman. Certainly a big part of their future. Machado over the middle to Savitsky Lynn. It doesn't sneak in on that near side.
Back-to-back errors on the Cardinals, and going back to Tran as he heads to the service line again. He's really the only freshman to get notable playing time for this Maryville squad. So they're a much older team compared to Ball State. It's a great mix.
Tran drew up 20 minutes from campus in St. Louis. Basilio blocked at the net, but out of play, Cardinals get that point.
That point shot right off the Saints defender's hands and out of bounds, almost to the Cardinal bench, right off the palm of a Saints defender. And Ball State, lucky enough, none of their guys touched that one as well.
AJ Robitou did a great job getting a hold of that. The tallest player on this Maryville team at 6'7". Now it's Griffin Satterfield to check in. Tran, he pops it up over towards Usher, and it gets in for the kill.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of different Cardinals who don't have a lot of playing time, and that could have been kind of the inexperience right there from Marty Canavan.
And how about this? The setter, and Jake Usher was attacking that time. Satterfield pops it up. Savitsky wind and down. You have to remember, Griffin Satterfield last year, that crucial win for Ball State against Ohio State, Satterfield was the center for that match.
That's right. And even though there's a lot of inexperience on the floor, you still got guys like Braden Savitsky-Lynn finding that hole in the middle of the floor.
Cardinals are 5 away with Will Basilio to serve it across. On the back line, it gets in for the ace.
Cardinals controlling the service line so far today.
Yeah, that was the #1 thing Mike Haston was telling us. We need to be better in serve receive. He even said that Maryville could be the best team in the country if they have their serve receive on point, where he said that they would be the best team in serve receive, I should say. Rogers the free ball as Satterfield saved it. Trans sky the back row off of Satterfield and down for a kill.
No chance Ball State recovered that one. What an attack from Makai Scott out of nowhere, putting the hammer down.
Yeah, we've seen Makai Scott from the back row. That's how they use him for the most part in that area.
And he's only 6 foot. He's jumping almost to the top of the net.
Here we go, the serve is Griffin Satterfield. Back behind, Canavan tries, but it was pancaked. No, it wasn't. They give it to the Cardinals.
Cardinals getting away with that one off the serve of Tyler Solborowski, whose mom played volleyball at Maryville as well. Again, a lot of guys we don't see very often getting some good minutes here in this matchup.
And Solborowski, he went to Franklin Central High School in Indianapolis, and his mom played volleyball here at Ball State. Off the webbing for Savitsky-Lynn. It's a kill for Maryville. And the connections, they're everywhere. But now you got Jake Usher to serve it. We saw Usher attacking earlier in the match despite being their primary setter. Satterfield to that far side. Rogers off of Clark. He can't respond with it. Ball State now within 2.
Yeah, they got it on Zach Clark right there. Wasn't able to handle that spike, and it's rare. Coach Haston called him just one of the greatest short liberos there is out there.
Now it's Marty Canavan, the junior from Chicago, one of 11 returners on this Ball State team. Bimbo down aisle 3 for the kill. He keeps Maryville fighting.
Yeah, in his first game, he only had 3 kills, and only 2 since then. Good to get him back in that category.
Now you go to Aiden White Mountain of Maryville. Coach Haston was singing his praises on our call this week. But that time it goes long, and it's set point for Ball State. And you already see it with Worthen Arena getting going for this. Even the Cardinal bench getting involved. Patrick Rogers to serve it. Usher. Scott. Does he keep Maryville alive? No, he doesn't. Ball State takes set 1. Big set win for the Cardinals, and Maryville remains.
Team player. He might not get all the minutes, but he's there for his team when they need him most.
As Satterfield sends it across, Clark over with the diving effort. Satterfield on that far side. Lewis tried it. White Mountain, the attempt. Tipped up front, and it goes to Maryville as it went down.
Yeah, 3-block set from Ball State there, including Will Patterson, who we haven't really been able to talk about yet, but looks like they touched the net. Maryville, for the 2nd straight set, gets the 1st point.
So Jake Usher to send it across for Maryville. And off of the webbing it goes. Point Ball State. You have to keep in mind, though, the Cardinals, after that 1-0 start for Maryville in the first set, it led to a 6-0 run. We'll see if maybe that continues here. Patrick Rogers to serve. Usher, the pop-up to the far side. Rookhausen, Satterfield juggles it and can't handle. rare mishap on Satterfield's end. We do see Lucas Machado, he's been on the bench ever since really halfway through the first set. Mike Iandolo giving reps to who he calls his number 2 setter in Griffin Satterfield. Lewis tries it on that far end. Maryville, they collect it. Scott, Ball State responds. Pop-up, back row, Rogers, he says yes.
Rogers again finding the hole in the back row, and again, because Maryville isn't as tall of a team, a lot of guys can't cover as much ground, and right there, Rogers exploiting them in their defense.
Speaking of tall, how about Will Patterson, 6'10", one of the 5 tallest players in the MIVA. Rookhausen near side, blocked up front, up towards the Jumbotron. He went underneath the net though, Rookhausen for Maryville. Back row, Rogers tries it once more, but on that near side it went out.
Looks like Ball State, talking to the official, thinks there might have been a tip or an error in the previous part of the rally, but right now, Savitsky Lynn sent that way out of bounds.
Yeah, that was also another thing. We saw Jaden Rookhausen, he went underneath the net as well.
And he went onto the Cardinal side, was able to get it back over. And it looks like we may have a challenge from the Ball State side.
Yeah, looks like we are under review, but Ball State and Maryville, so far, I mean, we're very early into the second set, but a much more tightly contested set so far.
That's right. I mean, and if you look at the game overall, they're matched in kills at 12 apiece, but the real thing that stands out is the errors. On the attacking errors, Maryville was 6, Ball State only 2.
It's hard to figure out what they could be looking at. There could be the argument for a hand up front, could have been a block. That's usually what these things are, but at the same time, we mentioned even Rookhausen going underneath the net. There are a myriad of things they could be looking at right now, but we do have a replay angle right up here of what maybe could have went down.
Now they could, Rowan, they could be arguing one of those guys touched the net, especially Rookhausen went underneath the net. No touch from Maryville right there on the Savitsky Lynn spike. Who knows if Ball State will lose this one.
Yeah, those net violations, if that is the case, those have been killer all year. And I think that's it right there. Maybe looking at Usher, if he got a hand on it, that could be the case. The officials still conversing, just getting out of the review. And they give it to Ball State after the fact.
Looks like it did come in contact with a Maryville defender. Coach Iandolo wins that challenge, trusting his players.
I don't even think it was at the net. I think it was after the fact off of Jake Usher. He had his arm hanging out and it went off the fingertips.
Yeah, he tried to pull it back at the last second, a last-ditch effort, because he knew that ball was going out.
Yeah, rare mistake for Usher, a guy who's been a leader for this Maryville team, and Ball State out of that little intermission, they come out hot.
What a spike, and that's just knowing where the volleyball is at all times. It went right to him. It's almost like it was magnetic, and it was attracted to him, and he just spiked it back home.
Will Patterson to serve again for the Cardinals. Bumps it up, Binbo on that backside. Rogers tried to collect it, but it was too strong for him. It goes to Maryville, though, and we have Tristan Binbo to serve it. Too long on that one. Both teams exchanging woes in that process.
Yeah, that was a high spinning serve from Binbo, way too far. Ball State showing the discipline on the defensive side, and now up 2.
Ryan Lewis to serve it. What a breakout he is having for this Ball State team. We mentioned it earlier, second in the MIVA in total kills. He goes to the service stripe. Rookhausen, he tries it, blocked up front, but it goes out of play, a Maryville point.
Yeah, 2-set block there from the Cardinals. Not enough, gets hit on the left side, flings out of bounds, and a good attack from Maryville.
Yeah, this Ball State, their blocking unit, you could call it, even though it didn't quite go their way, maybe doesn't get enough credit. Satterfield back behind. Lewis tries one. Up front at the net, out of play as it was blocked. Lewis gets the kill.
What an attack there from Lewis. He noticed he wasn't as close to the net as he would usually like, and he fired it into the defenders, was able to have them block it out of bounds for him almost, and able to get the point. He's just a high IQ volleyball player.
That goes down as his third kill of the match. And Will Basilio, another sophomore at the stripe. Rookhausen, a slight tap over, pancake Shearer. A dousel at the net goes Maryville's way. Back behind, Basilio tries from the back row. It was kicked up by Haston, the head coach of Maryville, but it doesn't matter. That's a Ball State point.
What an attack from the back row. Ball State really using that to their advantage in this one, finding the most open holes in this defense.
Yeah, you saw Rookhausen. That was just too much for him. White Mountain too strong as he tried to collect it. Dump over Satterfield. Maryville's able to respond. Satterfield once more. Shearer. Rogers blocked by Maryville. They give that to Robitou for the point.
Again, Robitou, tallest guy on this roster, standing strong at the net. And in a volley that really looked like it was going to go Ball State's way. They kept getting the ball back, especially after the serve, but he's able to block it right down in front of Lewis.
The redshirt junior making a big impact on that play. Ryan Lewis, he tries again, but that time too strong.
Yeah, he struggled in the tournament in Phoenix, the First Point Players Challenge. And he struggled here today a little bit as well, but you know, it's kind of a give and take. You also get a lot of kills. Sometimes there's more errors, but now Maryville has cut it to 1.
Mackay Scott on the serve. Too long on the setup. A miscommunication goes Maryville's way.
Yeah, Rogers there looked like he tried to get it down at the last second, but couldn't. And it goes, and we are tied in set number 2.
Hey, you have to admire what Maryville's been able to do, how they've been able to fight as Mackay Scott goes to serve. That near side, Rogers, a big thump. It was blocked up at the net, but too long out of play, a Cardinal point.
When you have the power to basically send your spike off of the blocker's hands and into the opponent's bench, that's when you know you're a good volleyball player.
I think Patrick Rogers knows by now. If not, somebody needs to tell him. Clark, Usher, Robitou. He's able to get it down.
Robitou sneaks that inside the lines just barely. Ball State looks like they thought it had a great chance of going out of bounds. And this time, Maryville first lead in any set today.
Here we go, 8-8 as Robitou to pop it over. Satterfield Patterson is utilized that time and hammers it home.
Started right in the middle and found another hole in that back row. Ball State seems to be a team that's so good at that, finding the holes in the defense. And with a tall guy like Patterson, it's probably easier than most teams have it.
We haven't seen as much of Will Patterson as of late. He did play 2 out of 4 sets against Stanford as Scott off of Shearer, a rare mishap for the Quincy transfer in Shearer.
Yeah, Shearer transferring in from a fellow MIVA school in Quincy.
As here we go, Jake Usher. Maryville and the Cardinals knotted up at 9s, but another error for Maryville on the service side. We've seen that time and time again for Maryville today, where those have been able to stall these red-hot momentum plays. Usher looks to right the wrongs over to Scott. Ball State's able to handle it. Basilio, he tries. Scott the response. Usher, cross-court, Rookhausen the free ball. Shearer pushes over far side. Lewis brings down the hammer for the point.
Mackay Scott had a great chance to try and save that one, but too much from Ryan Lewis sends it out of bounds. Ball State, a bit of a larger lead that they've had as of recently.
11-9 in Ball State's favor. Patrick Rogers once more to serve. Scott can't handle it. An ace for Ball State.
That's already their 4th service ace of the day. Maryville only 1, so 75% more.
Yeah, this is a team that doesn't give up a lot of aces in Ball State. And now we have a timeout called on the floor. 12-9 Ball State. We'll be back with more second set action when we return. More on him.
Thanks, guys. When you look at these two programs side by side, you don't see much in common other than the shade of red. But when you look closer, you see that both sides have pride in their programs. Maryville, in their short existence, has won 59% of their matches and is looking to climb the ranks rapidly. The Cardinals, in their long existence, have won 70% of their matches, but in Iandola's first season, they believe that their secret weapon is how much they are bought in. Sam and Rowan, it's yours.
Great stuff, LJ. It's just so interesting how different these teams' histories are.
And they're playing quite similarly right now, only 3-point difference between these squads.
Maryville, they're hot right now as they go to Rookhausen, blocked up front by the Cardinals. That tandem of Patterson and Lewis getting it.
Yeah, you don't see it as often as many Cardinal fans would probably like, but right there, they brought the hammer and the monster block.
Fans getting into it, the monster block, one of the best traditions here at Worthen Arena. As Patrick Rogers once more to serve for Ball State. Clark airs it out. Usher, White Mountain, the tap, Ball State sends it back. A miscommunication as Maryville free ball, the Cardinals can't get it.
Yeah, a little trickery right there. You don't see it too often in volleyball, but when you mix it in, you catch teams off kilter like they just caught Ball State. And Satterfield tried to pancake it, couldn't handle it.
Aiden White Mountain sends over with the right hand on the error that time. Another service error for Maryville, stunting their momentum.
What a kill from White Mountain there, and outside of being a libero, he's really good in the outside hitter department. And right there, he just showed why.
That's their 7th service error that time. Up at the net, and another one added on to it. I guess you could call that an announcer, Jinx. How would you say that?
We could say that as well, but again, Maryville keeping it close, only down 3.
Yeah, that's the real stat we need to check on. How many jinxes will me and Sam have tonight? Scott on the attack, Rogers the dig. Lewis, a joust at the net, went off the antenna, so it goes to Maryville.
They cut it to 2, and again, very important times, trying to win that race to 15, but also stay in it. Maryville has yet to have a lead tonight, looking for that first lead in any set.
In to serve for Maryville, Peter Socheska. The transfer from Purdue-Fort Wayne, played in the MIVA last year. Savitsky win the attack and down.
They're finally getting guys like Savitsky Lynn involved already. That middle blocker opposite position that he plays is so vital to this offense.
You can't deny how important he's been. Ball State 19-17 in the kill department over Maryville. That's due in large part to the 3 kills of Savitsky Lynn. Mackay's got the tap. Lewis. Will Basilio the thump. White Mountain handles. He sends it over. Up at the net, Satterfield tried to dump over. Satterfield, Basilio. Robitou the response. Back behind, White Mountain on the block for Ball State. Maryville still alive off of the Jumbotron. And out of play, Cardinals get it after that long point.
Long point indeed went off the Jumbotron. Then they were like, all right, we gotta free ball it over. But the free ball was the one that went out of bounds. Critical mistake from Maryville. And almost like a free point for Ball State is what it feels like.
That's one of my favorite things you see in volleyball when it goes off of that Jumbotron. Usher over the Robitou off of Lewis's chest. Will Basilio, too strong unless there's a tap. There was not at the net, so a point to Maryville. They cut it down to 3.
Yeah, Basilio kind of got out of position. His body was a little bit cockeyed to where he wanted to go. Looked like he wanted to go cross court, had to go to the back left corner, and that ball just sailed way too far out of bounds.
Now Ethan Tran comes back in. We saw him whenever he did come in, not just as a serving specialist, but he was really their primary setter. And with Usher not being out there, that might be the case. A block up front with Robitou, but goes to the Cardinals.
Another type of those low starting attacks. It stays low and gets sent out of bounds off of the block. Good IQ from Savitsky Lind right there. Another point to the Cardinals.
Will Basilio, the sophomore from Canada, playing a larger role, making the most of it. Clark, a rare mishap into the seats it goes.
That makes it Basilio's 5th ace of the year so far. And again, Cardinals controlling that service line that's oh so important.
Yeah, that's our 5th ace of the contest, and we have a timeout on the floor. You can't talk about Ball State without talking about how great Patrick Rogers has been for this team just throughout the season and really throughout his career.
Yeah, and especially today, he has 6 kills. He's hitting at a 41% 7 clip. He's their leader. He's a captain on this squad, and there's a reason he was picked as preseason MIVA Player of the Year.
Patrick Rogers has been the heart and soul of this Ball State team, and that's due in large part to the talent he's had. You look at the preseason All-MIVA, Lucas Machado, who we haven't seen much of today, and Patrick Rogers named to that preseason team.
Yeah, and it's only 2 guys. It's quite surprising. Some of their guys were left off, like Ryan Lewis, but again, Patrick Rogers is a respected guy, not only in this league, but in all of college volleyball. I mean, he played on the U.S. men's national team over this summer, won a gold medal. He's accomplishing it at all the levels.
Because you think about it, as a senior with Rogers, a lot of guys as seniors, their volleyball career is nearing the end. With Patrick Rogers, I think it's just beginning.
It is just beginning. There's definitely a chance he can go to the professionals and make a career for himself. And he's a guy who's stuck with Ball State, obviously transferred in from St. Francis, Brooklyn, but in this stretch of 3 years where he's gotten really good, he's won some awards, he could have easily transferred to a bigger school like Hawaii or USC or BYU, but he's stuck with the Cardinals.
It's not just the indoor game, too, the beach game as well that he's been so good at. But Will Basilio comes in to serve for the Cardinals. Back from the break, Zioki the try, Shearer the dive. Patrick Rogers the tap over. Hey, we were just mentioning him, he gets a big kill.
Rowan, what I love about that, not only is he a powerful player, he's also a smart player. He saw a little bit of an opening in the defense, and he just simply pushed it down, as we see on the replay right here. He doesn't always have to go for those big-time kills.
We know he can lay the hammer, but he can also bring it to you that way. Tran on the setup for Scott. Zioki keeps it alive. Scott, another try. Off of the hands of Basilio into the front row.
Too much for Basilio to handle on that one. Kind of got hit off the left wrist and definitely some spin on that one.
Now you go to Mackay Scott to serve, the junior who last year was an All-IVA second-team member. When you talk about Maryville's returner, maybe he has the spotlight on that. Lewis over the Tran. Robitou pops it up. White Mountain on top or on the net. Doesn't even reach over. Ball State the point.
Ball State only 5 points away from this set victory right here, and a bit of a more dominant one since that timeout break.
It makes you wonder what Mike Iandolo was telling his guys in that break to have the Cardinals pull ahead so much. Now it's Braden Savitsky-Lind at the stripe. Cardinals by 6. Tran, the shove, Zioki at the net, stonewalled and out. And how about a big play for Makai Zioki?
Showing some emotion as well. He's got the cool glasses on as well. But he's a guy who's been pretty quiet so far today. And finally making an entrance. He's a guy they need to heat up if they want any chance of winning this set, but later on, sets 3, 4, and 5.
I'm glad you brought up the goggles. That definitely stands out about him. And here we go. Ball State looks to respond after that, and Aiden White Mountain takes advantage for Maryville.
Rowan, I gotta say, he's got one of the best last names, I think, in not only in college volleyball, all of college sports. That is, I was reading that on their website, one of the best last names you could ask for.
Yeah, do you want to trade Albert White Mountain?
I think we'll call it a done deal.
I guess so. Now Satterfield back behind them. Ryan Lewis on the attack, gets down.
I think an unsung hero of this game today is going to be Victor Scherer, playing for the usual libero, Adir Ben Shalouche. He's been in the entire game, and Ball State has looked right at home with that libero.
Yeah, he missed the first few games of the season due to injury, came back for that Phoenix trip, and he hasn't skipped a beat.
Another guy who transferred in from Amiva School.
White Mountain off of Shear, and right as we say that, a rare reception error on his part.
Yeah, I think, Rowan, our jinx are getting a little high up there right now. But again, this is a guy last year 4th in digs in the MIVA. What an addition to the program. Again, he's been great today. That last play was not his finest. Maryville cutting it to 4.
It's hard not to sing his praises. Zioki the other way, a topper. Over on the other side, Jason Harris tried it and got it down. Harris had his first career kill against NJIT a few weeks back, and now making an impact against Maryville.
Yeah, I had the chance to talk with him after that kill, and I told him congrats on the first kill, because he's been a guy who's been here for quite some time, and he told me he was so nervous when he checked into the game.
I would be too. Can't imagine what he was feeling, but that time an error on the service stripe for Harris. Maryville still within 4. But Maryville with the send over, and that's another service error. They're 8th on the match. Ball State only with 3. That makes a big difference.
I mean, Rowan, you take those 8 service errors and you give them to them right now. They're at 26 points. They're over the threshold of winning a set. That just goes to show you how costly errors can be sometimes.
It really makes a world of difference for Maryville, especially Ball State. They're 2 points away from winning this second set.
And now checking in for the Cardinals, Daniel Gunther, the freshman out of Munich, Germany, has no sets played so far this season, getting his first set played.
Zioki leaps up, but goes off of the webbing. It's set point for Ball State.
A huge play from Gunther, just checks in. What a job he's done in his first rally played.
Ball State looks to go up 2-0 as Patterson sends it. Miscommunication, set sweep. Maryville looking to stay alive to start this third set with Jake Usher to serve it across. Harris the first touch. Bumps over Canavan, blocked up front. Cardinals keep it alive. It's Patrick Rogers on the attack. Touch up at the net. Ball State the first point.
Looks like Maryville on the defensive side going up for that block. A little too far over onto the Ball State side. And this is the first time Ball State has won the first point of the set.
Yeah, that is really interesting how Maryville's been able to get off to somewhat hot starts in these sets. We'll see if that continues. Zioki and a 4th touch. Just a miscommunication for Maryville that time.
Early lead for the Cardinals. You know, even when you're up 2-0, still got to get to 25.
So Griffin Satterfield to serve for Ball State. He's been the setter in this matchup really since the halfway mark of the first set, coming in for Lucas Machado. Clark over the middle, Robotu blocked. Now Satterfield to set up over the middle, Patterson and down.
Patterson attacking left to right, finding the open space. He knocks it down. Ball State on one of their better opening runs of a set all game.
Yeah, Will Patterson's a guy that maybe hasn't gotten the amount of playing time he would have wanted so far in this season, especially with the addition of a guy like Jacob Surratt, but making the most of his time tonight. Over the middle, Scott off of Harris, and a kill for Maryville.
It's good to see some life from Scott, especially as our pick for impact player jumped from the back row, got that kill down. Maryville's on the board.
Makai Scott, 2.5 kills per set this year. He has been tremendous for the Saints. Satterfield on one leg over to Rogers on the slide.
Rogers finding the back corner, wide open with another kill. He's trending toward double digits, now at 9, and he's hitting at a 53% clip.
We haven't seen Ball State use much of a slide action, but that time it worked to their advantage. Usher, cross-court pass to Scott. Ben Schlusch tried to save, but it goes to Maryville.
Yeah, he finally checks into the game, and that one kind of caught him off guard. Got a little late step on it, dove for it. No harm done. They're still up 2.
Yeah, with Ben Schlusch and Shearer, Coach Iandola was saying we have 2 really great liberos. In camp, they both complemented each other very well, and that's continued here in the regular season. Harris to try on the attempt, and he got it.
Great offensive attack right there, faking with Patterson, going with Harris. And again, you would think you might go to Patterson, the more experienced player, but the fake throws off the defense. They go with Harris. Ball State now at an advantage of 3 points.
With Will Patterson on the serve. Off of White Mountain, the dive, and kept alive by Usher. Satterfield over the middle to Gunther, and that's his first career kill.
In only his second set, and only about his, I don't know, 6th volley ever, he gets a kill down. And Gunther making it happen for the Cardinals.
Welcome to Division I men's volleyball, Daniel Gunther. Falling back, Zioki with the left hand, too much for Patrick Rogers to handle.
Yeah, it looks like that one caught him a little bit by surprise, flies off of his left forearm and out of bounds. Maryville obviously down by 3, but hanging a little bit better than they have in past sets.
Makai Zioki, commonly used tonight. When we got here this morning, Zioki got here at Worden. He was taking videos, just amazed with this arena, but that time commits an error.
That one, Ron, that one flew all the way to the left end of the gym and bounced all the way back to our broadcast booth. That's the kind of power Zioki has, although that time way out of play.
We thought that a ball would head our way at some point. I don't think we were expecting it that way. Over with Usher, Maryville, the rare attack for Usher, but they had no choice and they got the point.
Great sneak attack from Usher, the little flick of the wrist right there from one of the team's more seasoned players out of Allen, Texas. Allen produces a lot of athletes out of that high school.
Off of the net, Satterfield back behind the Canavan into the front row, a Cardinal point.
Rowan, I know he's a freshman, but Gunther, I love what we're seeing from him so far. I'm excited about his future, only being a freshman.
And we see that with Ball State throughout their history. Guys that maybe at the beginning of the season don't play as much, their role steadily increases. Gunther could be one of those guys. Ball heading our way, a point for Ball State. It's an ace.
And that ace goes to Jason Harris. And again, a guy who only played in 2 sets before this, getting that one.
And a timeout called on the floor. Ball State so far in this 3rd set, everything going their way. We'll be right back with more 3rd set action. set action. Ball State dominating so far, looking to get the sweep. But for Maryville, even though it hasn't been going their way, Mackay Scott, he has been a bright spot.
Yeah, Aiden White Mountain has been fantastic. We talked to Coach earlier before this game. He said he absolutely passes dimes. He has 4 kills on the day, hitting at only a 15% clip, but it's been one of the bright spots for Maryville so far.
Aiden White Mountain has been a guy that is talked about quite a bit for this Maryville team. We've been told that he's kind of like the libero in waiting behind Zach Clark, who's been so great for Maryville in his 4 years, the all-time leader in digs. But if he keeps hitting like this, who knows if that libero spot is even in the question. White Mountain tries it. Just as we say it, he gets a kill.
And again, we've mentioned him a lot so far today, but again, just the way he's able to do it both on the defensive and offensive side of the volleyball is impressive.
So it's Tristan Bimbo over the serve from Maryville, looking to keep them alive in this matchup. Their backs are against the wall. Over the middle, Gunther stonewalled. Ball State keeps it. Patrick Rogers sneaks in for the kill. Patrick Rogers has his 10th kill.
Back to double digits. And again, that is the 5th time he's done it all season in his 6 matches played. For those, he's had at least 16. Probably won't get there today, especially with the way it's trending toward only 3 sets.
And the Cardinals have only played 1 3-set match this year. It was the opener against Division III Trine. Satterfield tap over. How about Griffin Satterfield with the dump over action?
Too much for Mackay Scott to handle right there. Satterfield, a little bit of trickery. Ball State up 6.
That's only his 2nd kill of the season. And now you go to Daniel Gunther to serve, coming off his 1st career collegiate kill. Zioki from behind, touched up at the net by the Cardinals and out of play.
A little interesting note about Zioki. He said after school he plans to open his own auto collision shop.
Wow.
Quite the career choice. But he can get it done, I guess, in the shop as well and on the volleyball court.
It goes to show that there's a lot more after volleyball, and I guess Zioki has big plans. Jason Harris, a back row attack and another kill.
Jason Harris coming alive in this set, and this match, I should say.
And look at this, Maryville. They're talking right now. They think that may have gone out of play. Mike Haston talking to the official. We may have a review. We'll have to wait and see. But the officials converse. They keep it with Ball State. And an error for Griffin Satterfield. A rare service error for Ball State. Only their 4th and the 1st in this 3rd set.
Still Ball State maintaining that 5-point lead right now in this set. It's huge when it gets into those crunch time moments.
Over the middle, Patterson off of the webbing, can't go. Maryville the point.
Yeah, kind of surprising to see Patterson kind of get blocked up front, especially with his height. But it goes to show, even though you're the tallest on the floor, you still have to have some talent to hit it where you're supposed to.
White Mountain from Webster Groves, Missouri, to serve it across. Ben Schluch the first touch. Now Canavan tries, sails out of play.
Yeah, the native of Chicago, graduating from Marist High School, doesn't get a lot of playing time, but again, one of those key pieces on the bench, really an energy guy, brings the team together, shows up day in, day out. That one sailed a little too far.
Griffin Satterfield back behind Patrick Rogers. Usher in the right place, right time. Zioki off of Rogers again. Now he taps it over. Maryville can't handle it. Patrick Rogers playing smarter, not harder.
That's right, smarter indeed. Received the kill attempt from Zioki. Noticed he was a little backed up, and he went for the spike right in his very spot. What a play from Patrick Rogers.
11 kills for him on the day. And keep in mind, so far only 3 sets in. Mackay Scott leaps up. Ball State keeps it alive. Patrick Rogers off of the net and gets it down. Somehow, some way, Ball State the point.
He's up to 12 now on the day. Patrick Rogers, back-to-back kills. And again, this is why he was voted preseason player of the year. He didn't start too hot in this one. I think the stats will show that, but he has really come alive.
over the middle. Robotu, we call his name, he gets the kill. We haven't really called his name that much. That's his 4th kill.
Yeah, caught Ben Shalouche lacking in that one right there. In the last 2 games, he's actually had no digs, which is quite surprising considering he's the libero. But right there, able to get it by Adir Ben Shalouche.
Ball State by 4. Ben Shalouche unable to handle it. An ace for Maryville.
Maryville on a little bit of a run right here. 2 important points as Ball State heads toward that 15-point mark.
That's only their 3rd ace of the matchup. This is something that they've struggled with throughout the year. Going into this, only 9 aces through 3 matches. Satterfield goes over to Jason Harris. They call his name once again. The Cardinals are the first to 15.
Look at the bench celebrating that one. They know that one meant a lot. Jason Harris climbs the ladder and sends it down on the left side.
Going into this matchup, Jason Harris only had 1 career kill. It was a couple weeks ago against NJIT. How about adding to that total by 4 today? So Will Patterson tries again for the Cardinals. Zioki on the attack, Harrison a finger on it, the Cardinals can't answer.
Yeah, the Cardinals going with a no libero look right there, and it makes sense that the ball fell to the ground. A little bit of a miscommunication gives Maryville the point.
Yeah, you don't see that too often from Ball State going without the libero. And this 3rd set's been Adir Ben Shalouche. The first 2, it was Victor Shearer.
Yeah, both these teams play a 5-1 on the offensive side, which usually has a setter and a libero each rotation.
Canavan dunks it.
Man, Ron, even these bench players have so much athleticism, especially when it comes to jumping and getting the height in order to send those kills down.
I think the story of the match so far, Sam, for Ball State, everyone getting involved.
Yeah, bench points is usually a stat we refer to in basketball, but I could use it here just as well.
Tran over the middle to Binbo, and a point for Maryville to cut it within 3.
Maryville, although they're getting beat in a lot of these instances, still keeping it within 3. We've really seen that. And the only times they really lose momentum is near the end of the set.
Jason Harris on the slide, too long.
That one just out of bounds on this near right side by the broadcast booth. Another good attack from left to right from Harris. That one doesn't get it to fall.
But off of the attacking error, Maryville has it within 2 in this 3rd set. Dump over Satterfield, Tran the dive. Ben Shalouche off of the free ball. Jason Harris tries again, the dig from Clark. To the near side, White Mountain stonewalled by a sea of Cardinal White. Back on that far side, Usher tries it, but wide right on the attempt, so Ball State the point.
Ball State, all the momentum in that rally. Eventually, when it gets to Maryville, they waited, and eventually Maryville made a mistake. That's kind of been the story all match.
How about the versatility of Jake Usher, a setter attacking that time? An error for Ball State on the service side, their 5th of the match.
Again, Maryville cuts it to 2, but these are the important ones where they have serving honors, and it doesn't seem to go their way as Socheska checks back in.
Socheska from Purdue Fort Wayne. As Griffin Satterfield heaves it up. Rogers tries, won't go. White Mountain attack over, just swirls in for the point. Now Maryville within 1 of the Cardinals, they just won't go away.
Yeah, and Rowan, this is the only set that has not had a tie or a lead change. And set 3 is now the closest.
Peter Socheska the serve once again. And a service error puts Ball State back up by 2.
Ball State does not want set number 3 to be the one. Maryville knocks it up.
Maryville not going down without a fight. But the errors have just been so prevalent, especially on Maryville's side with 9 today. Bump over White Mountain, the tap. Ball State keeps it. Patrick Rogers on the attack. Tran. White Mountain sets it up. Ball State back with it. Back row Harris, too long on the attack.
Yeah, that's something you're going to see about. That's something you're going to see out of inexperienced players. Harris doesn't get a lot of playing time. Had a wide open back row, just came off the hand a little bit fast, more than he would like.
Maryville just not going down with that fight like we've been saying. It's been that way throughout this matchup. Despite Ball State being up 2-0, these haven't been blowout sets. Harris off balance, couldn't get it to go.
Back-to-back errors from Harris, costly, and first time this set we have been tied 18-18 apiece.
It's interesting though, Patrick Rogers is the only starter from this match out there for Ball State. Satterfield, there's Patrick Rogers, tipped up at the net and out of play, so Rogers makes his impact known.
I mean, that's just Ball State's resilience right there. They lose 2 straight points. It's tied. Kind of seems like the walls are caving in set number 3 a little bit, but they go back out, they take the lead, 19-18, only 6 points away from a match win.
A tightly contested third set. Trying it, White Mountain, and the kill for Maryville as it was off of Ball State with the block. Maryville tying it up with the Cardinals.
This is the most points Maryville has scored in a set so far today. Set 1, they scored 17, set 2, only 18.
Canavan slide action kill.
How about the trust from Coach Ayandolo, trusting not his starters to win them this set? Guys like Marty Canavan, Jason Harris, Griffin Satterfield.
So Patrick Rogers from the stripe again. He has an ace today, but he's contributed to that kill amount of 39 for Ball State quite a bit. Scott, way too strong on it. The Cardinals now with a 2-point advantage.
This is really where it gets interesting. Maryville calls timeout. They need some points out of it.
And that's crucial for Maryville. So with this Maryville team and what Mike Haston has done throughout 5 years, it has to be impressive, but still, ranked opponents, only 1 win all time, and it came last year.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier today against Missouri Baptist, beat them 3-1 in 2025. And a couple of those losses also came to Ball State, who's a commonly ranked opponent. And we talked to Coach Haston before this game, and he said he doesn't shy away from scheduling ranked opponents. He knows how much it means to their growth and to development throughout the season.
And looking at the upcoming schedule, they got Purdue-Fort Wayne tomorrow. They'll head to Fort Wayne tonight, spend the night there. Then you got Barton College at home. Eventually, you go to Missouri Baptist University, that ranked team that they beat last year. So looking at that upcoming schedule, Maryville, if this third set doesn't go their way, they'll still be looking for their first win.
Yeah, and playing a fellow MIVA school in Purdue-Fort Wayne.
And then you got Ball State with their upcoming schedule. Charleston tomorrow night right here on ESPN Plus, number 20 in the nation. Then you got Maryland Eastern Shore, George Mason after that, and then finally they open MIVA play with a pair of matchups against Queens.
Yeah, Queens, one of those teams that just doesn't go away in the MIVA. Constantly a very good squad. Again, Ball State picked 3rd in the MIVA preseason poll, including a first-place vote.
Ball State historically one of the most elite programs in the MIVA, no denying that. It'll be interesting to see what happens when they do open MIVA play. Rogers an error, so Maryville within 1 now out of the timeout.
Another rare error from Rogers. He can do it all, but also, you know, star players still tend to make mistakes. Maryville inching ever so closer.
AJ Robitou to serve it up for Maryville. As Satterfield, a cross-court effort over to Harris. He's blocked up but out of play. Ball State within 3.
3 more, and again, that kill looked like it was going to go down, but blocked straight out of bounds. Maryville caught a little out of position.
despite this being, would you call it a dire situation? Up 2-0, but a close third set. Rogers is still the only starter out there for Ball State. I think it's Iandolo showing his confidence in his second unit.
Yeah, I don't think it's a dire situation at all. If it got to that point, maybe if this eventually went to a possible set 5, he could bring the starters back out, especially his starting libero, Adir Ben-Shaloush, but he's not nervous at all.
Over to Scott, leaps up to get the kill. Maryville won't go away.
And Makai Scott showing his athleticism on that one, cuts it to 1. And this is where they need to dig deep and win some points on their serves.
Makai Scott's really been a bright spot for Maryville. 9 kills on the day. He has added 3 attacking errors in the process, leading the team in that margin as well. But it's Makai Zioki now to serve it up for Maryville. Satterfield back behind Rogers off the top of the net and good.
The net, he used it to his advantage. Huge spike on his windup, hit the net and fell straight on Charlie Cardinal. Point for the Cardinals. Fake with Gunther, sends it right into the net. Cardinals are 2 points away from winning this one.
Maryville looks to respond with Makai Scott, a rare mishap for Rogers.
Rogers got there, he just knew he was a half second too late. You can see as soon as the ball hit, he was in kind of that kneeled pose and knew that ball was going way out of bounds.
Makai Scott and Maryville still hanging in. Daniel Gunther puts Ball State in a prime position. It's match point.
What a play from the freshman out there when it matters most. Ball State approaching a second straight victory.
It would be their second sweep of the season. Looking to move to 5-1 on the year with Jason Harris to serve it. First touch, White Mountain. He tries on the attack, Ben-Shaloush the response. Harris a free ball, we still keep going. Back row, Scott, Cardinals with it. Rogers to win it, no good.